Nords in the Fjord with Satheron, the herald of cosplay. Today I will look at Fantoft Stave Church, or as is known in English, Fantoft Stave Church. It's essentially a religious building inspired by the Viking dragon style and was originally built somewhere around at the time when Norway was become Christian. Then it was rebuilt into recent time into something new and more ornate. A very noticeable feature about this building is that it's made entirely out of wood. Wooden nails, wooden floorboards, wooden roofing, everything is wood carved and pretty much handmade. Well, at least to some degree. Wood does not stand up to the tooth of time chewing away at the material. Which is why it was rebuilt and remade, because the original was a lot more simpler and worn out. What you're seeing here is me walking up the road leading up to the church in early spring. It's a very nice and ornate scenery with lots of lush trees and a really tranquil atmosphere. Well worth a watch. It's one of those places you just have to see in Bergen to appreciate Bergen and the Norwegian beauty of nature. Though, that being said, you can't really enjoy the inside of the church without paying money for the entrance fee at certain times of the year. All other times it is enclosed by a fence and you cannot enter without jumping over and breaking several laws. According to my sources, a family known as Horn funded the rebuilding of the church, and it was completed in 1997. Oh, and aside from being worn by time, it was also lit on fire by a deranged man known as Varg Vikernes, otherwise known as the fellow behind Bursum, a Norwegian heavy death metal band. He is a man who is very convinced that the Norse mythology is the best one and that all religion is kind of stupid and should be demolished and abolished or something like that. Well, say what you will about the dude, but his music can be okay at times, depending on your mood. However, that being said, he is still a extremist and quite stupid. At least if he's going to do some damage, collateral or otherwise, why would you go for the wooden building that looks aesthetically nice and had historical significance? That's just silly. I can't really say that I agree with any of his motivations or statements or actions, but he has to be mentioned because he's an important part of the church's story, and he is of historical significance for Norway itself. After all, you can't mention his history of Bergen without mentioning him, regardless of how you view a neo-Nazi. Of course, you don't get away with bad deeds like this when you're showing yourself on a picture of a cover with a burnt-down church in the background, so he sort of got arrested, put in prison, and at some point escaped. Eventually he got recaptured. He was caught with a 83 rifle, at least 700 bullets, a bulletproof vest, and a lot of more things. He is also guilty of stabbing someone he knew to death with a knife, it seems. Apparently he was a part of the band, and the fellow was stabbed 23 times, 2 in the head and 5 in the neck, and 16 in the back. As you can see, he is a very colorful personality. He is now around 36-year-old and have served at least 16 years in prison, and was put on parole in 2009. This is also a very important distinction when it comes to Norway. We are very lenient with our inmates, and they can't really serve for life, or be put to death, or any such thing. That is all for now. Like and subscribe, and see you around.